Blue 58! Blue 58! Go!
Welcome to another edition of First and 10. Let's do it again. And we are doing it right. Each and every month, we bring you some of the best names, some of the best information having to do with sports, chiropractic, and so much more right here, courtesy of the Professional Football Chiropractic Society. First, let's thank them and all the people that make that organization possible. Not just its officers, its members, but each and every year we have been holding a sports science symposium. This year will be just like any other year, but even bigger and better. Last year sold out, so we're requesting that if you are going to register, please do it soon. March 5th and 6th, 2021 at the Hyatt Hotel in Indianapolis, Indiana. A stud lineup, including special guest Brandon Marshall, with a really neat topic near and dear to his heart that he'll be sharing with us. So again, we want to thank Script Hesco for their participation, Multi-Radiance Medical. We also want to say thank you to China Gel, right? Showing a little love. Kinetisense, Ultra Shoes. Those guys have been sponsoring us for a while, and we thank you for all you do. But today, it's not about them. Today, it's about my special guest. I want to welcome from your Detroit Lions, their team chiropractor, Dr. Karen Slota. Karen, welcome to First and 10. Let's do it again.
Thanks, Alan. I really appreciate you having me on today. This is going to be fun.
I am excited to talk to you because I've learned so much about you doing some research, which is going to lead to some of our questions. So for people that aren't familiar with the format, you get 4 downs, 4 questions, possibly an overtime question. We'll see how much time we have. So before we even get into that, tell me a little bit about you.
Well, I am starting my 22nd year of being a chiropractor, and 6 years of that being with the Detroit Lions. It's been quite an adrenaline rush. But I think for me, I had my first career being in the Coast Guard and being an adrenaline junkie there, and that really took chiropractic and being with the Lions just so much fun. And when I'm not doing that, I scuba dive. So I'm always, searching for something exciting to do. And that's kind of my passion.
Awesome. Well, here we go. First down. Let's get into it. Most people would kill to be the team chiropractor for a certain team. And yet in your career with the Lions, true or false, did you turn them down not once, but twice before you decided to take the job? First down.
Yes, that is true. I came out of nowhere when they asked me, and I think it was just reactive. I was just like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. This is not for me. I don't have the time to do all that. And I actively tried to find them someone that could do the job. And I really couldn't find anybody that fit all the skill set they were looking for. And finally, they just wore me down and had me come down just to meet everybody. And, and then it turned into, hey, can you come and just treat a few players during training camp? And started with 1 day, and then it was a week. And then, it just kind of snowballed from there. So that is true, but I am so happy that they kept on me. It's been quite a ride.
We're so happy that they accepted you and you kept on them. So first down, good job. All right, so now it gets a little more tricky. We're going to go back into your memory banks because you used to be a competitive athlete prior to becoming a chiropractor, correct?
Yes.
So, and in the sport that you competed in, and you could tell us a little bit about that, did you ever suffer an injury that you said to yourself, you know what, I wish I could find somebody that could work on this injury so I can get back healthier and better? And was that one of the driving forces for you to become a chiropractor? Second down.
Well, actually, during my I was a power lifter first, and I never really had any injuries. But it was once I was in chiropractic school and I was competing in powerlifting or bodybuilding competitions that I hurt my knee. And it was discovering ART at that point. That was how it drove me into active release techniques, which is kind of what I do now, was to treat that injury. So I really built my whole practice, my sports practice, around really treating the injuries that I had in my competitive background.
Nice. Okay, well, let's go to third down. And this one you're going to have to think about a little bit. What is your proudest moment as a sports chiropractor? Now, I'm going to say you don't have to, you could be HIPAA compliant, but what is your proudest on-field moment that you have had that says, gosh, I'm so glad I was able to do that to help with this athlete? And let me also preface it by saying, because of where you are, because of where we are, we understand that every athlete is out there because of the work the team does to get them there. But I know there's got to be one story that you helped a player who you don't have to name with a certain condition, which you can name, get back on the field or do something they had to. What's that story? What's that gut story?
I work on a lot of the special teams people, guys in particular, and kickers. And I tell you, like, I do work a little bit more with the kickers, I would say, and knowing when they're hitting records or they're trying to go for a record, and if they miss or if they end up getting that, that field goal or whatever it is, that's where I feel a lot of sense of pride. And I get really overwhelmed when I think of, oh my gosh, if we could just, he gets, 6 more of these and he's got the, all-time record. And, so I'm really overjoyed when I do a lot of that extra work and trying to prepare him to, achieve this goal that hopefully we'll get to this season. But I also got to tell you, the downside is, when they miss some of those kicks, I feel, I go through like, oh my God, what should I have done different? What did I miss? So it's a proudest moment, but also it stresses me out because I kind of blame myself, even though maybe it was a win factor. The wins were this way or that way, but
right.
That is probably the thing that where I've worked mostly with this particular individual the last several years. So that's the one that comes to mind to me.
Nice. And I think you said it best, because there are a lot of people that want to claim all the glory. Yes, it was me that helped them do that, but they don't understand the other side about what if they don't do what they were supposed to do. Are you willing to accept that side of it as well? So good answer for third down. Fourth down, you have been through so much. You've been through 10 years in the Coast Guard?
Yes.
You went to college in Alaska. You have been practicing as long as you have. You practice active release technique, dry needling, shockwave therapy, cupping. There are a million different things. You have the Lions. You have your practice at Soft Tissue Solutions. What's been, with everything going on in the world and the pandemic, what's been your biggest challenge this year that you've had to face and come out on top?
Probably, moving both offices during a pandemic.
Oh, there you go.
And thinking that, I was mentally thinking I was done with football because they were going to make changes in the organization. So there were a lot of challenges, just things I had to kind of work through, and just the stress. And one of the offices I moved in was a collaborative approach with 3 other businesses, and it was a lot of financial impact, and it was a big risk. And we moved in February, had a grand opening in March, and then 2 weeks later we're shut down. And that was a real kick in the stomach. And we just, wasn't sure what was going to happen with that. But you know what, we just kept persevering. And then, I didn't think the Lions were going to bring me back because they didn't want to have any outside contractors. And so there was just a lot of little things of, just not knowing. But you know what, we just eventually, we got the offices moved, we got them all up and running. And you know what, the Lions brought me back. And so it was kind of a stressful few months there of realizing there's a lot of changes going on here. And that was a lot to try to manage and not stress out too much about.
Right. So just as a follow-up to that, how do you keep it all together? Because I'm sure some students are out there. I'm sure, some other doctors that are out there that may have much less on their plate, that feel like they have so much on their plates. How do you keep it together?
One, I love doing it. I mean, it's the adrenaline rush I feed off of that. So even though it's a big challenge, it's a lot to manage on a day-to-day basis. I got to have really good people around me, certainly in my office, to help me out. I always joke that everybody's got, their wife does this or wife does that. And I don't have a wife, so I've got to do all that myself as well. But I do have a really nice team of people, and I just love what I do. I mean, that is kind of, so the love of managing, I love having my hair on fire too. So I feed off of that. So that is a greater joy for me. There is some stress, but still the fun part outweighs the stress part.
Right. Okay. So 4 downs are done. We're going overtime. Last question. You spent most of your time in the Coast Guard. People think of the Coast, you're probably at some beach somewhere or some tropical island. You look at your Facebook pages, palm trees and stuff, but you spent most of the time in the Coast Guard in Alaska. You spent most of your, if not all of your professional life in Michigan. Cold and cold. So tell me the coldest sideline that you've ever stood on, and what in the world did you do to keep warm?
Well, it was either Green Bay or Chicago. I think Chicago, I remember, but I was covered. I have a really fun photo of a big heavy jacket that went all the way down to the floor. And I looked like the Michelin Man, I was all bundled up. And you know what? And so it was that. But I would always sneak over to the players bench and stand on that platform that's all heated, when they would go out. And, and I'd stand in front of that little, that burner, the heater that they have out there. But I also burnt my first pair of gloves ever. I didn't realize how hot that thing got, and I melted the first pair of gloves I got. So that was the coldest, was Chicago. I'm pretty sure it was Chicago. And
yeah, I mean, you're playing in that division where there are the coldest stadiums.
Yes.
I've only had one ridiculously cold experience in Denver, and then I'm reading your bio on them. You're in Michigan, you're in Alaska, and I'm like, the cold's got to be nothing to you. But
well, yes, I mean, it's all about dressing appropriately. I mean, Alaska, I mean, we never closed schools unless the actual temperature was 50 below zero, not wind chill. So I'm used to some pretty cold temps, and I skied in it as well. But yeah, the sidelines, you're just standing there. That's the tough part,
right?
So you really can't. You're not running around the field and stuff. So, but yeah, so and I would take quick breaks and run in and warm up a little bit, and but my head trainer would always say, Karen, you don't need to be out there. Just stay inside if you want. So, but he was really good to me. So I didn't have to suffer too much.
Awesome. Karen, you are the best. Karen Slota practices in Michigan with 2 locations called Soft Tissue Solutions. Ridiculously busy, but thank you so much for taking the time to come on First and 10. And I also want to say thank you because we started this last year or the year before. Yourself, in addition to other female chiropractors that are involved in the NFL, having Women in Sports Chiropractic, kind of a mini symposium at the Professional Football Chiropractic Society Sports Science Symposium in March. So tell me a little bit about what you discussed there, and then I'll let you get back to work.
Well, the biggest things a lot of the ladies want to find out is, boy, how do you adjust these big guys? How, they look at my size and, Dr. Emma, kind of same thing. It's like, what's the best advantage of being able to adjust these guys? So we talked a lot about those kind of skills and things, and just, just having to be able to think fast on your feet. But a lot of it, we would show them just how to set up for a patient on the table, and, certain moves, and just really how to, you got to make sure you have the right table and the right equipment to be able to, to take care of those guys. And, and just, really how you're interacting in this kind of male dominated world, and little things like, where do you go to the bathroom, and, all those little things. And, so that's really kind of what we talk about, just making sure that they feel comfortable. They have the confidence to just, because these guys, they're just people, just like all of us. They're just maybe a little bit bigger. And, but I always tell them, you got to work on your speed and your technique, because sometimes it's just not about brute force. It's just how you're just quickness right in these adjustments. And, so
I got to tell you, one of my favorite pictures of you is you with Megatron.
Oh,
and that's just that picture tells it all. Again, Dr. Karen Slota, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate you spending the time. And you can see Karen on the sideline of Detroit Lions football games, or you can come hear her speak at the Professional Football Chiropractic Society meeting this coming March 5th and 6th, 2021 at the Hyatt Hotel. For more information, go to profootballchiros.com or look up the Professional Football Chiropractic Society on Facebook. We'll be back again next month at the 1st for First and 10. Let's do it again, and thank you for joining us.